The Supreme Court of Nigeria has spoken, and today the gavel came down hard in favor of Senator David Mark and the leadership he has been fighting to protect. The highest court in the land has restored the Mark-led faction as the authentic, legitimate leadership of African Democratic Congress, the ADC. This is not a rumor. This is not a claim. This is a unanimous decision from a 5-member panel of the Apex Court. And the Nigerian politics will not be the same after today. Welcome back to the channel. Stay with me because this story has everything. To understand why today's ruling is so significant, you need to understand what was at stake. The African Democratic Congress, one of Nigeria's registered opposition party, has been locked in a bitter multi-faction leadership war. On one side, you have Senator David Mark, former Senate President leading a faction that had conducted national conventions and elected executives. On the other side, you had Ralph Nwosu and Nafiu Balagumbe, challenging the legitimacy of everything Mark faction had done. The case originated from a September 4, 2025 ruling of the Federal High Court, which was challenged by Mark but later upheld by the Court of Appeal in its Mark 12 judgment. A judgment that ordered all parties to maintain the status quo ante bellum. That Court of Appeal ruling didn't just freeze the situation, it gave ammunition to those who wanted to dismantle everything the Mark-led ADC had built. And then INEC moved. They recognizing the leadership of the ADC entirely, leaving the party without a recognized leadership at a moment when it remained a fully registered political party in Nigeria. Imagine that. An entire party, leaderless on paper because of a court order. The Mark faction did not sit and cry. They fought back through the courts and through every legal avenue available. In a letter dated April 28 to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere Ekun, ADC Legal Counsel warned that any further delay could threaten the party's participation in 2027 general election. The stakes could not have been higher. INEC has fixed May 10 as the deadline for political parties to submit their membership register, with presidential and National Assembly elections scheduled for January 16, 2027. Every day without a ruling was a day the ADC risked being locked out of the most consequential election cycle in years. The Mark faction told the Chief Justice bluntly, without the delivery of judgment within the 3 days, the ADC stood the grave and irreversible risk of being excluded from participating in the 2027 general election. That is how serious this was. Today, April 30, 2026, the Supreme Court delivered, in a unanimous decision by a 5-member panel headed by Justice Mohammed Lawal Garba, the Apex Court vacated the order that had directed the ADC to maintain status quo ante bellum, pending the determination of its leadership crisis. The court was direct and unambiguous. It held that Abuja Division of the Court of Appeal acted beyond its jurisdiction by unilaterally issuing such an order after it had already dismissed the case before it. The court's words were cutting. Giving such an order in an appeal it had already dismissed was unnecessary, unwarranted, and improper. Let that sink in. The Court of Appeal has dismissed the case and then still issued order. The Supreme Court called that out for exactly what it was: judicial overreach, and they swept it away. The appeal filed by Senator David Mark succeeded. The David Mark-led ADC is back, officially, legally, and constitutionally. Now I want to be real with you because this channel does not do propaganda, we do analysis. The Supreme Court ruling restoring David Mark's leadership as national chairman of the ADC may appear like a decisive victory, but it stopped short of delivering a final verdict on the underlying leadership dispute. The court directed all parties to return to the trial court for continuation of the hearing, meaning The substantive question of who legitimately leads the ADC remains unresolved in full. So what did Mark actually win today? He won the right to lead without suffocating injunction that had paralyzed the party. He won the immediate ability to submit the party's membership register ahead of INEC's May 10 deadline. He won breathing room, and in Nigerian politics, breathing room is everything. David Mark just saved the ADC from electoral extinction. That is not small, that is enormous. What today tells us about Nigerian politics is this: opposition parties are fighting two battles simultaneously. The battle against the ruling party and the battle within themselves. The ADC internal war mirrors what we are seeing in the PDP and in smaller parties across the country. The 2027 elections are drawing closer, and the wolves are circling every structure worth inheriting. David Mark, whatever you think of him, showed today that he came prepared. He came with lawyers. He came with strategy. And when the chips were down and the party's future hung in the balance, his team wrote to the Chief Justice personally and got a ruling that kept the ADC alive on the ballot. The war is not over, but today, David Mark ADC is standing, and that is the fact that Supreme Court of Nigeria has now certified. If this video informed you, smash that like button, share it with somebody who follows Nigerian politics, and subscribe if you haven't already. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the underlying leadership dispute will ever be fully resolved before 2027? Let's talk. This is your channel for Nigerian politics. Raw, sourced, and sharp. I will see you in the next one.